And of course, we're going to be live this evening here with those Korean qualifiers, as we always are. We're diving into our next series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Arbidos. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Protoss player. We have the Dark Slayer himself representing Matcherino Esports. It is Arrogfire. Oh. As we are losing Chicken Man. Hope everything is okay. Looks like maybe he's going to be casting Max Packs versus Beyond. I guess. Question mark? Okay. I'm a little bit surprised. I'm pretty sure... I'm a little bit shocked. I'm pretty sure the majority of the other casters are covering Max Packs versus Beyond, which is a shame. I think Pig is there. I think Artosis, Deadfont. Wait. At least Chicken Man as well. Wait, what? I'm the only one here. That's interesting. Literally every other caster is jumping onto Max Packs. And to be fair, it is Max Packs versus Beyond, right? Like, it is a really good PvT. It is a semifinals match, but yeah, like you know, we gotta praise Arrogfire. He just beat Dark. Like he just popped off, Bobby. We wanna praise him. We wanna give him some love. We wanna give him some attention. As he's going for a proxy. Can he do it again? Can he cause another upset and bring down NightMare? Let's go. As we get into this game, a massive shout out to Reverse in the chat, or S-Rever in the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Oh my god, for 5 months. Thank you. Oh, just under half a year. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate the support. Thanks for the content. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. As we are getting into this. And yeah, Arrogfire is setting up for what looks to be... Okay. I was going to say, is it going to be a proxy robo? No, it's a proxy Stargate, so we can expand behind this. We can transition. A very aggressive opener here from Arrogfire, but not all in by any means. Just going for that proxy Stargate in the center of the map. We did have 2 gate openers all around. Stalkers are hitting the field. Ooh, yeah, it looks like NightMare is going to check this proxy location. He does come across the Stargate. So with this, NightMare knows to be ready here for an Oracle coming into the main. He should be throwing down a shield battery in the main base as well, just to be ready for this. Should be working on that. Oh, as the first Oracle is being chronoed out, I love it. These Stalkers are just parked out on the other side of these rocks, waiting for the Oracle to come out, waiting in the path of said Oracle. There's that shield battery in the main base. We have 4 Stalkers waiting for Arrogfire. Oh, the pathing is not looking too good. Uh-oh. Stalkers are moving out. The Oracle has arrived, and it is going to go down instantly. Ay. A big loss for Arrogfire. He does still have the Stalkers out on the map. He, I believe, is the first to shoot as well. We do have quite a bit of control here, and Arrogfire, he's going to be able to come out on top, but we have the defender's advantage for NightMare. He's going to be able to clean this up. Arrogfire is forced back. Not the best start here. He does go for another Oracle, but by the time he shows up in the main base, we already have a shield battery. For those wondering, an Oracle does not out DPS the healing of a shield battery. Yeah. It looks like maybe he can get one probe. Gets one probe. Just barely gets one, as we do manage to warp in across the map. Meanwhile, here we go. NightMare does rock up, focusing down Stalker after Stalker. There's no shield battery in the main base. Boys have to be pulled, and this is snowballing out of control. Ay. Probes falling left and right. And this is becoming game-ending damage at this point, especially because NightMare can keep on pushing. He can dive on top of this last remaining Stalker. We do have a warp in. Oh. And the Warping is going to keep Arrogfire alive a little bit longer. But he's down to 18 probes. He's like, Arrogfire just doesn't have much left. Does recall his Oracle back home. Is going to be able to clean this up. But again, it was just a disastrous start. It was just a disastrous start for Arrogfire. And things just snowballed out of control. Ooh, and Arrogfire finally regains control of his main base, but he's down to 19 probes compared to the 36 workers here of NightMare. Got Blink on the way. Robo. Additional gateways. Is there a way for Arrogfire to come back in this game? He has Oracle. He has an Oracle. With this, he can maybe get a really good stasis trap off in one of these bases. There is definitely harassment potential here. It's potential. Oh god, but not. Never mind. The Oracle goes down without getting another kill, and with that, I don't think there is a way to come back in this, because it's a mirror matchup. That's the problem right now, is that both players have the same tools. Both players have the same units. We have Blink Stalkers all around. It's just NightMare has more. Just because he has the better economy. We have a third base on the way. Arrogfire just trying to muster up whatever he can. He doesn't want to go down without a fight. I don't blame him. I don't blame him, especially because of what he's already accomplished so far. He's already taken down Dark. He wants to prove himself. He wants to fight back. He doesn't want to go down this quickly and this easily to NightMare in game 1, but alas, that is going to be a hard pill to swallow, but a pill he has to swallow nonetheless. We can potentially go for something like a Dark Shrine or even Robo Production, but Stalkers do get into the main base. Probes are going down. Oh, 6 probes do fall. And we even recall back home as well. NightMare just securing his lead. Making sure he has just the better economy and maintains that better economy over his opponent. We're getting into Immortals, +1, charge. I guess the other big thing is that potentially Arrogfire can try to outposition NightMare. That is possible. But problem is, Arrogfire sees the army. He has the Observer over the natural base. The Stalkers do meet each other. NightMare with the Stalker lead, he can take this fight. Even pushing up a ramp, even not having the high ground vision, he's going to be able to overwhelm the army of Arrogfire. Do we have a shield battery? We do have a shield battery and soon to be an overcharge at the natural, but it's too much. GG gets called, and NightMare will take game number 1. GG. Well played. Oh, again, unfortunately, the initial proxy of Arrogfire did fall on its face. Did not find too much success at all here against NightMare. So it was a bit of an uphill battle from the beginning, from the get-go for Arrogfire. But now we're getting into game 2. Getting into that second game. Oh boy. Here we go. And as we get into game number 2, it's going to be taking place on Ancient Cistern, a much larger map compared to Neo Humanity. Almost the polar opposite here. It comes to the spectrum of maps that we do have. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Protoss player currently having a lead in this series 1-0. Can he close it out here and now? Representing Team Arbidos, it is NightMare. and spawning. In the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Protoss player representing Maturino Esports. It is Arrogfire. Again, Arrogfire already accomplishing so much in today's tournaments, already achieving so much. It was beautiful to see him taking down Dark. Maybe that might be his biggest result. That might just be his, the best result that he has had so far in his career, to take down a player of the caliber of Dark. So a massive highlight already, but can he go further? Can he go toe-to-toe with NightMare? I want to believe that he can. It can be a little bit more difficult when it comes to mirror matchups, to be honest. Just because, again, you know, both players have the same tools. PvP can be a little bit different just because of how chaotic things can get. We can go for a lot of proxies, as Arrogfire does have a probe out on the map. It looks like just a pseudo proxy pylon is going to be thrown down. What does look like a fake setup here from Arrogfire. There we go, pylon is thrown down. So for those wondering, the second pylon is missing in the main base. It should be there. NightMare has his own second pylon here in his own main. And because of this probe scout, NightMare is going to confirm that. He does see that the pylon is missing, and now he's going to be wary. He's going to be assuming, or ideally going to be assuming, that his opponent is cheesing him, that his opponent is proxying him. But it's a fake. It is a fake pylon, or a fake proxy, just designed for some mind games, for the mental battle to be had with NightMare. NightMare, though, he is not flinching at all. He's still going for a 2-gate opener with those 2 stalkers. He hasn't sent out another probe to scout across the map or around the map. He's not really too concerned, not too scared. Sentry is revealed, and with that sentry, NightMare should be feeling pretty safe, as this is a very macro-oriented opener. Now, the power of the sentry here in the early game is to provide you with some scouting information. Can go for hallucinations or some force fields as well. NightMare checking around the map, looking for any kind of proxy. Meanwhile, Arrogfire is setting up for a 1-base all-in. We have 3 gateways. We have a robo as well for a warp prism for immortal production as well. Arrogfire is not expanding. He's not taking that natural. Oh boy. And NightMare is still looking for that pylon. And it looks like he is going to come across it. Does find the pylon, is aware now that it's a fake proxy. There's nothing out on the map. But because NightMare was so concerned with looking for that pylon, he's not ready for the 1-base all-in. Not yet, at least. Here we go. Prism is on the way. We'll be seeing another warp in of these stalkers back at home. We're working towards Blink. No robo. Without a robo, NightMare may have a hard time defending. Let's see, we go. The hallucination is barely going to see a couple of stalkers moving out of the map, which is not suspect. But here we go. Does get confirmation. Doesn't see the natural, or there is no natural base. And now NightMare knows. Immediately, we have a second shield battery being thrown down. Or even a third shield battery in the main base. So far, NightMare just flexing his control. Able to get a couple of free hits in. Free shots off. Oh, and here we go. One stalker's going to be going down. The first shield battery is looking quite exposed. It is going to fall as well. We do force the overcharge. That is going to buy NightMare a little bit of time. He's working on a third gateway. He's trying to warp in as much as he can. But that shield battery is going to run out. Yeah, and NightMare has to give up on the natural base. Arrogfire having a lot of momentum going his way right now. He's pushing his way up into the ramp, up into the main. Shield batteries are going down. The natural base will fall. But as time goes on, NightMare, he's getting another warp in. He's preparing in his main. Has a backup shield battery. So far, though, the juggling is looking good. Arrogfire hasn't lost a single unit. Oh my god. Not yet, anyway. Again, that just goes to show how good the juggling has been. Behind this, Arrogfire is expanding. He's working on that next step. Shield battery is going to be going down. Pylon as well. Arrogfire gaining ground across the map. NightMare is going for a backstab. He's going to be trying to apply pressure to the bases here of Arrogfire. But Arrogfire, he just doesn't care. Ooh, is forced to recall. Uh-oh. It's going to be forced to recall back home. Once again, good juggling coming out. Did end up losing a Stalker, so that perfect score from Arrogfire isn't there anymore. But he does defend. Does end up defending. NightMare coming back. Could be setting up a surround. But Arrogfire has abandoned his position. He's returning back home. He's content to just take his lead. Now, NightMare has a higher probe count. Does have more workers. Sure, definitely. Arrogfire, he can make 2 probes at a time. He's mining more efficiently. NightMare, long distance mining instead. We can see that NightMare is taking control of the center of the map, especially with Blink. So Arrogfire is going to respect that. He's going to back off. Work on his own Blink instead. Arrogfire was able to deal enough damage to expand. To macro out of this. Do you see a Stalker does go down. So good pickoffs here from NightMare. Definitely. Good at pickoffs. As Arrogfire is able to take control of his side of the map. Blink is now done. The one advantage that NightMare did have is no longer there. He is working on a faster forge for faster +1. So we can definitely work on that. But when it comes to the sheer numbers, the sheer Stalkers, Arrogfire has just so much more. Can he force the issue here at the natural? It's going to be a close one. Especially because Arrogfire does have Stalkers back at home as well. Not on the front lines. Server does go down. Arrogfire, can he pull this off? He does have the supply lead. Yeah, he's just going to be expanding behind this. Forces the overcharge. Arrogfire, of course, a very young player, a very fast player. Trying to flex his micro. Probe is going to be going down. Not too bad. We can see there, Arrogfire was just quickly checking to see if the third base was already taken. Making sure he's containing his opponent to 2 bases. That's all Arrogfire needs to do, just contain NightMare. So NightMare is building up an Immortal count. Even though NightMare is behind in the Stalkers, the Immortal will help make up for that. Ooh, as NightMare does lose his prison there in the retreat, so a big pick up from NightMare, and yeah, Arrogfire is going to have to back off. He's going to have to respect the position. And we have a game. We have a back and forth. Arrogfire definitely had advantages earlier on, but NightMare, he's getting his third base, he's got a bunch of Immortals, he's got +1. This is still anyone's game. Arrogfire still has a bit of a lead. But it's not a massive lead. I don't know. He can make 3 probes at a time. He can produce more workers, sure, and snowball in the economy, but NightMare is not going to take this line down. I would love to see an ace match. Can we pull it off? Oh my god, that Stalker count is still insane. 32 Stalkers to the 20 of NightMare. Pushing out now is not the wisest of moves. I do kind of want NightMare to tech into disruptors from here. I do think that skipping a little bit of tech would be a could work out for him, I should say. It's a risky move, of course, to invest into tech, into a higher form of unit, and to stop producing stalkers. Tis difficult. As the NightMare does back off, doesn't overextend. Meanwhile, a couple of adepts are shading into the third base, and oh, even though Arrogfire had such a massive worker lead, he's going to be losing some probes. 4 probes do go down. NightMare now taking that worker lead. Now, of course, Arrogfire has been mining more for longer, so he still has an advantage. That is showcased here in the armies. Arrogfire taking a 4th base behind this as well. Fight still could go either way. There we go. And we do see Arrogfire just picking up a couple more units. Meanwhile, 2 more adepts shade into the natural base. Ay, ay, ay. At the same time, Prism tries to sneak into the main, but no, it does go down. NightMare, he's winning on multiple fronts. He takes down, or he distracts the economy. He takes down some probes in the natural base, forces a warping back at home, shuts down the Prism. Arrogfire at least has the 4th. It's about to finish up, but what is he doing with his army? Sorry, with his money? A couple of stalkers do get out for free. We do see Arrogfire catching out some of those stalkers. Having a bit of a better engagement. Force fields are thrown down all over the place. Tried to make things a little bit more awkward for the opposing player. Archons have now hit the field. Charges done for Arrogfire. NightMare looking for a way in. He does have +2 over his opponent. There we go. Second robo and a robotic spay on the way. This is what I wanted earlier. NightMare, he's getting into disruptor production. He is getting to a higher form of tech. A form that Arrogfire isn't quite ready for. Base on the way. We still need a little bit more time. I don't think NightMare really intends to commit, but Arrogfire does, and NightMare is going to be careful to be caught out. Uh-oh. Does have to be careful. Yeah, we have the aggressive leap forward here from Arrogfire. Picks up a couple of stalkers. And NightMare is on the run. He's on the back foot. Arrogfire knows that he does warp in a reinforcements of Zealots. 2 disruptors are on late, but they're not ready yet. Can NightMare squeeze out those disruptors in time? You see Arrogfire rotate on over. They siege upon the 4th base as well. So far, the blinks are looking good from both players. The Immortals of NightMare are going to come into play. Oh, but Arrogfire has the better concave. He has the better engagement. But that is all about to change. Oh, Archons are going down. The disruptors have arrived, and Arrogfire has to give up this position. He has to respect it. Has to back off, and now that the disruptors are here, I need to give the edge to NightMare. I have to. The Prism, no. The Prism is gonna go down. Oof. Zealot Rama is going to dive on top of this base, but the base should survive. We have a shield battery in range. We have the armies as well. We got 2 probes, which is nice, but Zealots are cleaned up. And Arrogfire, he's still committed to this Gateway army. He hasn't thrown down a Robotic Spay. He hasn't teched up in any other direction, just Blinkstalkers, Chargelots, and Archons. And with this more maneuverable army, he's able to pick up a couple of units here for free. Not too bad. Able to catch some pickups at the same time. Zelarambai is pushed away by the Blinkstalkers of NightMare. What's in position? There's more disruptors hidden field. 5th base on the way for Arrogfire. He's trying to get that 5th up and running. Boy. Yeah, as NightMare is going for... I was going to say he's going for the surround. Gets himself surrounded a little bit there as he is going to bleed out a lot of those Stalkers. First Nova just zones away the army. No major connections yet, but I spoke too soon. A massive shot goes off. The army comes in from behind. We do see Arrogfire setting up a surround. He's getting on top of these disruptors, but the Immortals are putting in so much work as well. It looks like Arrogfire is losing his entire army. The Novas were too good. The upgrade advantage too good as well. NightMare able to somehow come back in this game. It was such a good start. It was such a good start for Arrogfire. To go for the 1 base all in, to contain NightMare on 1 base, to expand behind it, to get an economic lead. But what did he do with that economic lead? He just focused on a Gateway army. NightMare was able to tech up into disruptors. We saw a massive shot go off earlier. And even if shots don't go off, like the fact their mere presence just forces Arrogfire to be more tentative in his engagements. Have to be target fired. GG gets called, and NightMare will take game number 2, pulling himself back into it, taking the series 2-0. GG, well played. Congratulations to NightMare for taking down Arrogfire and advancing on to the semifinals. Very well done. Unfortunately, Arrogfire, I was hoping for an ace match. He was looking good in game 2, but it slipped through his fingers. And I shouldn't say it wasn't just Arrogfire, sorry, it wasn't just NightMare taking up. But if you remember, even in the lead up to that, he was going for a bunch of Adept harass. He was keeping Arrogfire busy back at home, getting some economic damage done, rolling his way back in. Was a hard-fought battle there from NightMare, but he does take it in the end. GG. GG, well played. And that means we have our lower semifinals match ready for us. Let's go.